Gallagher Shots podcast is sponsored by TyreSpot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. TyreSpot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
All right, welcome back to Gallagher Shots for your match preview. I am your host, Joe, and joined with me are Daryl and Dean. Now, the lads are back on track in the Premier League, securing 10 points from a possible 12, but we've still got a job to do in the UCL, in the Champions League, as we go away to a Bayer Leverkusen, who might be 17th in the Champions League table, but they're actually 4th in the Bundesliga, so they're doing pretty well overall. Now, let's get straight into this because, Daryl, we have Bayer Leverkusen, PSV, and PSG left in our remaining group games. We're currently on 9 points, mate. How important is this game to make sure we get a result, especially away, you know? Just for context, last season, 16 points guaranteed, a top 8 finish in the league, and all teams bar one qualified for the knockout phase that had between 11 and 15 points. So it's there, it's close, even if we get the playoff spot. But how important is it that we just keep this momentum going?
Oh, vitally important. I mean, this is the kind of game where we have to take that league form into the European campaign. And, you know, you've mentioned the teams that we've got left, and a lot of the teams that we've played in the competition as a whole this season, we have a history. I mean, we played this team, where are we now? 23 years ago we played them. Alan Shearer hat-trick at St James's, my first game. And the week before when we played them in Leverkusen, and I think it was a similar scoreline then, we really did quite well in that game. So I'm hoping for a similar sort of outcome on Wednesday night. But yes, we are sitting on that 9 points now. I'd like to think if we can get at least another 2, if we can get a win, it sorts it all out anyway. But at least another 2 points should push us over that line, and we shouldn't have to worry about not being in that top, what is it, 24 is it now, to count for that second round of games to go to the playoff stage.
Yeah, Dean, I mean, echo what Daryl said there. I think it's vitally important that, I mean, the games I just listed off there, you know, we've got 2 away games left, including away to PSG. So not completely discounting that, given that we should have won it at the Parc de France a couple of years ago. We should have, but it is going to be a difficult game. So you've got to think that this game and then the one against PSV are the ones that we really need to be looking to secure playoff spotting, right?
100%, yeah. I mean, let's be honest, PSG now are a different team than what we played a couple of years ago. They're miles different. The way they play now, you can see why they won the Champions League last year because they actually are a machine. What I will say about Leverkusen is, I've been to the ground. I went there for a stag do last year, and their home support is crackers. So they will be up for this game. I think that's one thing we'll have to get grips of early on in the game. Really get behind the lads, be as loud as we possibly can, and make sure we're as loud as them, because I'm not being funny. Leverkusen can be a hostile place. Trust us, I've been. And I think for me, their fans will be loud. So for me, it will be a tough game. But like you say, Joe, these next 2 games are where I can see us getting points from PSG. Well, let's get everything sorted before PSG, because I don't really want to go to Paris. I don't want to go to Paris going, oh, well, we need points still, because that's when, you know, it's Newcastle and, you know, anything can happen.
Yeah. Well, how about we talk about the team? Because we saw 6 changes made at the weekend. Obviously, we're now getting some options back. We had Wissa come on for his debut, which was fantastic. You can't really expect him to have too much of an impact over the next couple of weeks, really. It's going to take a while for him to get up to speed. But I'll stick with you, Dean. What kind of team are you expecting to start then? How many changes do you reckon we might make?
Do you know what it is? It's a difficult one because it's a massive week for the club. It is, both Champions League and League. Let's be honest, there's got 2 big games, so it could be anyone. But I can see Big V getting dropped for this game, and I think we might go for going up front. If honestly, that's what I can see. That's why I think Barnes and Murphy were kept pretty much out the game all the weekend. So I think they'll start on the flank. So you'll have Gordon through the middle. I don't particularly mind that, but I think the main change we're going to see is the front three, whereas like you might see similar people in the back four and then in midfield, but I think the front three will be different completely, and I think will be Gordon who will lead the line for us.
Can I just put a little, my thoughts on that? Does it not count for a lot that Voldemort has come from the German league and that he knows it really well?
Yeah, it does. But I feel like for me though, he might just give him a bit of a rest. Like I say, Eddie Howe's like a roulette wheel. You just don't know what he's going to do. But I just feel like with Big V playing all these games, I just can see him getting rested this one and having Gordon through the middle. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling we're going to see Gordon play as the 9 on Wednesday night. I don't know. Like it's just Eddie Howe, you know what I mean? You just don't know what you get of him.
Yeah.
I get why you would think that, Dean, but like Joe's mentioned there, the Bundesliga is Big V's bread and butter.
Yeah, it is hard.
You need his experience playing a German team, and I think he'll probably be the one that starts. Like,
I hope you're right, lads. I do. I just don't know what Eddie Howe's going to do nowadays. Honestly, he can do anything. Like I was expecting Byrne play left back on Saturday. I wasn't, but then you go, he was there. And Willock or Ramsey he just throws in random things. I wouldn't be surprised if Jamal Lascelles started up front. If I'm completely honest.
No, not this again.
Enough of that. Well, the Bundesliga isn't as big of it's not as much of a physical league as the Premier League. I think back to Florian Wirtz. I can't remember exactly which German team he played recently for Liverpool, but he seemed to really thrive in that, where he didn't have as much bullying off the ball and he was able to have a bit more time and space. So you got to think that would probably play a very physical side. And in that, you'd expect maybe like a Joe Linton to come into the midfield, especially, that it was him and Tonali that were rested at the weekend. It could be a game that Joe Linton really, really thrives at, to be honest. Daryl, what do you think?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, we know that he's turned into this massive powerhouse since he left the German league himself. So it'd be really good to see just how he now slots in against that style of football. I think I'm half wondering if he may, and I know it's going to sound crazy, but he did it when he tried to rotate between Bruno and Tonali in the last few weeks. I wonder if he might try and do the same again, but it'll depend on Tonali's fitness, because he did have that little knock that kept him out most of the game on Saturday. But it's like you said there, it's lovely and it's so refreshing to have the options available to us now. So we can't go into this game saying we haven't got a clue what Eddie Howe's going to say, because we have that strength and depth. It's really nice to see. I think for me, he's probably going to have to go with the best midfield he can probably name. So if it's going to be that Bruno, Tonali, Joe Linton, then that's what it's going to be, because we need to be at our best in this competition to get those points as soon as possible and get them on the board. And yeah, I think it's going to be one of these games where if we want to take control of that game, it's going to have to be through the physical side of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would just go back to Voldemort real quick as well. Another reason I would think that he would probably start is the fact that his fitness, I mean, touch wood, but his fitness so far has been phenomenal. He's only cramped up in his first couple of games, and after that, he's been really solid. He's never shown any real signs of injury or anything like that. So I could see him, especially with Wissa coming back and taking a few minutes off him towards the end of games. I can see Eddie Howe thinking, I mean, and going back to my earlier question, we need points on the board. Yep. If we win this game, we've got 12 points. I mean, yeah, okay, that probably puts us in a position for a knockout phase, but you don't want to leave that too much to chance. I would think that would probably want at least a point against PSV at home. You'd obviously aim for 3 points there, but even then, I think if we got 6 points out of these last 3 games, yeah, put you on 15 points, and it puts you in a really, really decent position for potentially even getting back to top 8. Yeah. It's hard to say, because it's only the second time that this league phase has been introduced. So, the stats aren't exactly there, but just going off last season, 16 points was guaranteed, 15 might do it. I look at Barcelona. I mean, they're one place below Bayer Leverkusen right now in 18th. And obviously they're a fantastic side. We saw it firsthand. But there's no reason why we can't still aim for a top 8 finish. We've just got to be a bit more clinical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. In terms of how...
sorry to jump in there, Joe, but as well, even if we do just miss out on that top 8, that next clutch of teams is seeded in that knockout phase. So that's an important step to worry about as well. We need to have that in consideration.
I don't want to talk about the derby too much, but it has to be something we've got to acknowledge. It's a Sunday game. We're playing Bayer Leverkusen. Was it 8 o'clock on Wednesday? There's not a lot of turnaround. We've just spoken about rotation and whatnot, but is that really going to factor a lot in Eddie Howe's thinking for this personnel-wise? The rest Malik Chow, because he's played pretty much every minute. It's a lot of football we're asking these lads right now. It's a tough part of the season, isn't it?
This is my point, though. This is what I'm getting at. Like, I feel like for me, Eddie Howe will be considering. He's got two eyes in two different games here, and he knows how important Sunday is. Like, he knows how massive that is for the region in terms of in terms of glory, like banter between the fans. He knows he can't go there and put in a stinking performance like we have been away from home. We just can't do it because I see a lot of managers, right? I remember when Pardew was like praised this club, but as soon as he started losing derbies, everyone wanted him out. Everybody hated Pardew just because he lost a derby. You know what I mean? Everybody despised him. Yet we never got relegated, and we also used to finish like in the top 10. So he can't be that bad of a manager. As soon as he goes, Carver comes in. Sorry, I won't run about that. But my point
about science. About the science.
Then days don't exist anymore.
But my point I'm trying to make is I think this is why I worry about what squad he's going to play on Wednesday, because he might be thinking to himself, I need to rest players who are hungry and know what it means to fans. For example, Jolit and Bruno straight away, they know exactly what that game means to us on Sunday. Big V I think he's going to be in for a battle anyway with their centre backs. This is what I don't know. I can see us playing a very strange side on Wednesday night, like we're not expecting. That makes sense. I won't be surprised if Witter played the first half just to get minutes. He's like, you know what I mean? You don't know already how, and that's where my concern is. I think if Sunday wasn't happening, then I reckon it's balls to the wall, the strongest 11 we've got. But again, with Sunday, you just don't know.
If I'm honest, I really can't see Witter getting even more than about 10, 15 minutes, to be honest with you. It's a midweek game. We're going to need him on the bench for Sunday. There's a chance he might not even travel, just given everything. I mean, he probably will, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just coming back. We've really got to be careful with him. Lewis Hall was rested pretty much at the weekend, wasn't he? So it's pretty much a shoe-in, you reckon, for Dan Burn? Or Dan Burn shifts back into centre-back with Malik Chow? It's probably looking something like that, maybe. Obviously, Tino, there's not really anyone that can take his place at the moment, with Trippier being out and Kraft just not being dead. Where is he? So you reckon the back four, probably Tino, Burn, Chow, and Hall? Because let's be honest with you, we did very much miss them. Hashtag overlaps.
Yeah.
At the weekend. So yeah, it would be good to see him back, won't it? Hopefully.
Yeah. Will be. And Fabian's one of those experienced players who you probably want in a derby as well. You know, so if you weren't going to play Fabian on Wednesday night, he's probably one who could then step into the derby.
You say that, mate, but realistically, then if you're keeping both your top fullbacks, you're talking about dropping Dan Burn for the derby.
That's true. That is true.
So unless we played a back five, but I think if Eddie Howe played a back five against Sunderland, I think he might as well just keep driving south until he hits
his own resignation.
Oh God, can you imagine?
Anyway, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So I mean, personally, I'm not, entirely clued up on how the Bundesliga is doing. But have any lads seen how they've done? I mean, some notable fixtures, results that Bayer Leverkusen have had. They really recently took part in a 7-2 defeat against PSG,
wasn't it?
Which there were two red card either side as well, so it's pretty mental. They did beat Benfica, same as us, but it was only a 1-0.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how those compare, the Portuguese league and the German league compare necessarily, but given how, I suppose, awful Benfica were against us, so only scraping past them 1-0 is, I suppose, like a bit of crump of comfort, isn't it?
Yeah, it totally is. I mean, for me, like when I watched them play us, they didn't even lay a glove on us really. Yes, they had a couple of chances, but they weren't great. Like we were so comfortable in that game, and that's when I thought was be a turning point for the club. I thought, oh well, this is the match now. The confidence is up now. So to not only get 1-0 against them, was that home as well, Joe?
I think so. It was at home. Yeah. That was only on the 21st of October, so it wasn't that long ago. So I'll reel off their Champions League results. So they drew 2-2 against Copenhagen, 1-1 against PSV. So obviously we're playing PSV after this. PSG 7-2, as I've just mentioned, beat Benfica 1-0. And then, actually, which is the interesting one, their last result, they beat Man City at the Etihad 2-0.
God, yes. Yeah.
So, as I've just mentioned there about looking for crumbs of comfort in their other results, that doesn't exactly help. Let's be honest with you. Who doesn't beat Man City right now, eh?
I tell you who else. They've got. I think they've got that Patrick Schick playing up front, and we've been linked with him in the past.
They do,
Yeah.
and he actually, I think he scored in that game. I think so. I've got
did.
their team who they played against City. They pretty much played like a 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3. So yeah, it looks like they're going to be a team that works quite heavily on the transition, going between like a 5 at the back and then a 3-4-3, which, depending on how fast we get up the field, could actually work in our favour. And it goes back to the Voltemade argument that we need to have him in for that transition going up the pitch. Let's talk about the wingers. Now, Dean, you've just mentioned you're expecting, was it Murphy and Barnes?
And Barnes, yeah.
Because like,
Gordon,
because
Gordon. Yeah, because we didn't see Murphy at all. Really did. I think for me, if we do play Big V again, I'm going to go back to what every single preview I say. Murphy is the best person to get the ball in the box for Big V. You know what I mean? Like he's a tall lad. He gets headers on. So if you're going to play us on, play Murphy. I think Murphy's due a good Champions League performance. I think Alanga's been impressive there, and I think Murphy's sort of like he's been all right in the Champions League, but he's been quiet a few games. So I think this is his game now to go right. Let me cement myself in the Champions League. So yeah, I definitely expect Murphy and I expect Barnes to come back, because Barnes isn't he our top goal scorer in the Champions League? Barnes.
I think he's just our top goal scorer, full stop. Maybe actually, well, no, Voltemade probably is at this point, but he's up there. He's up there.
All right, so yeah, Barnes' form in the Champions League is unreal. So yeah, you can't not start Barnes really. So yeah, definitely them two starting for me. Like I just don't know what the strike is going to be.
In agreement, Daryl?
Yeah, I would agree. So I mean, you know, it's all part of the rotation as well. You want them fresh legs, and Barnes and Murphy will give you that. I do wonder if he might go with Alanga just for the pace, especially if I think Leverkusen might try and impose themselves on us. If they're going to play with a 3-4-2-1, it'll be a case of them pressing through the midfield, and we're going to need quick legs to get up the pitch on a counter attack, and that might be the way that we go. And if we're going to go down that road, then it's definitely got to be Alanga on that side for his pace.
Murphy's no slouch though. He's not.
No,
it's very
he's
true.
Not quick. He's not slow. So, and also you could argue you whack Alanga on for the last half an hour, then that's fresh legs. So, who knows?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, in general, lads, you're feeling pretty confident for this. How, as I said at the start of the show, we've got 10 points from 12 in the Premier League. We've had a couple of slip-ups in the Champions League. I mean, Marseille is the only one that really we should have done better.
Yeah.
But I think, yes, it's another away game. However, how are you feeling, just like confidence-wise?
I'm positive.
I'm positive. I think they'll certainly want to make amends about what happened in Marseille, and obviously we've got a different goalkeeper in there now as well, so that's going to aid our style of play, I think, in the game. And I think, you know, they really need to make a point and prove a point after what happened in Marseille, because there can't be any more.
It's a good point, though. It's a good point, because the Premier League is obviously a very physical league, as we mentioned earlier, and a lot of the criticism I've seen of Ramsdale so far has been around him commanding his box, how he's taking crosses, corners, you know, that kind of thing. We might not see that as much against Bayer Leverkusen, and if they're opening up space, then that does allow Ramsdale's distribution to essentially be maximized in that respect. So it could actually be a really, really interesting way to see how we play, like I say, on the transition as well. The last player I want to touch on is Lewis Miley. He's had a really good start. Well, I say start, you know, since he's come into the team, the last few games, he's done really well. He came on, I can't remember what minute, but he came on later in the game on Saturday. Again, is it a chance for him to make his mark into potentially start this match whilst we rest one of the other lads ready for Sunday?
It's a hard one for me, though, because again, local lad understands the importance of the game on Sunday. Again, it's a catch-22. Like, we've seen Miley play really well in the Champions League. I mean, was it the Benfica game he came in for? He was phenomenal in that game. He was. Yeah, and also it was at Atletico Bilbao. I don't know which one it was. It was either Benfica or Atletico Bilbao, but he came and won the Champions League games, and he just so well. He was so comfortable with the ball. And I think it probably is a good game for the player. But again, if he gets injured, then we're losing them. We're losing that
That's
passion.
true. That is true.
That's the problem. This is what I'm saying. I'm terrified of injuries. I know I'm living in like the past year, but I'm just terrified of someone going down crooked. You know what I mean? Getting an ACL in Germany.
The one thing I would say about Miley as well is if he was selected to start the game, I wouldn't have any worries about him because he's playing with a maturity that's light years ahead of where he should be for his age. And he's just shown in recent weeks just how calm he is when he's in possession. And he's never really flustered, and he's always got an eye for somebody who he can lay a ball off to if he's put under pressure. He can always find an escape route. And I've been so impressed with him in recent weeks. But I mean, I have been when he came into the team to start with. He played like he was ahead of his time. And that's only gotten better in the last year or so since he's broken into the team. And I agree as well. I think it's important to have him available for Sunday. Because like Dean said, it's exactly the same. It's a really important factor in your team when it comes to derbies to have as many local lads as possible.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've spoken a bit about both teams, but Daryl, you've been trying to pronounce the ref's name for this. So everyone buckle up. We're going to hear who might be in the middle for this game on Wednesday night.
Right. So I would implore everybody to do their own little bit of homework and go and look at the spelling of this guy's name and just realize how much of a time I've had pronouncing it right. So, Serdar Gjerbiuk leads an almost entirely Dutch team of officials for the game in Germany on Wednesday. He's had 2 previous Champions League games this season. He did Karabag's 2-0 win at home to Copenhagen on match day 2 and Man City's 2-0 win away at Villarreal on match day 3. He's assisted on VAR by Rob Diepenink, and he was also the VAR for our 2-1 loss at home to AC Milan 2 years ago in the last game of the group stage. And he is on with the assistant VAR is the Belgian, so he's the odd one out in the team of officials for the game. That's Bram van Driesch, who was also the assistant VAR for the game against Barcelona all the way back on match day 1.
Lovely. Daryl, do me a favour. One more time.
Serdar Gjerbiuk.
Nice.
I think that's how it's said.
Mate, fantastic.
I really hope it is.
I think we'll take your word for it. If anyone would like to somehow correct his pronunciation in the comments, then crack on and do so. Right, now before we get to the score predictions, just a quick plug from us. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't already and become a member for just $2.99 a month for early access to videos like this. Also, make sure to follow us on our social media, Gallagher_shots for Instagram. We're doing loads of stuff over there. We're trying to keep it really active. It's really popping right now. It's great right now. So, yeah, please do. I'm going to move on now. Score predictions. Dean, start with you, mate. What do you reckon?
I'm reckon 1-0 Harvey Barnes in the 60th minute. There you go. Hot take for you.
Oh,
can he?
Nice and precise.
That's it. I mean, Harvey Barnes has done really well, hasn't he? So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. Daryl?
Well, I'm going to be slightly pessimistic here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think Patrick Schick will probably score for them. And I'm going to go with another Anthony Gordon penalty for us.
Nice.
I'm sick of Anthony Gordon penalties. Where's Voldemort, man? Honestly.
Exactly. I know. It's terrible.
It's more my FPL than anything else. It's doing my head
Agreed.
in.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be honest, before we started this, I did have 1-1 in my head because I thought it'd be a decent result. Probably isn't what we want, but I thought 1-1 would probably do all right. But just given what we've talked about, I've kind of convinced myself that we're going to win this. So I'll say 2-1. Bonds again, and Voldemort, just because Big V returning back to his homeland. Get on the score sheet. Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. If you agree with us, do you reckon we're going to actually do it, or not? Because we kind of need to get these results. We need them really. It's crunch time right now. We're going through a really hectic point in all the competitions right now. We've got the Carabao Cup coming up. We've got the Derby coming up. We've got all FA Cup starts in January. It's all kicking off, literally. So we need to make sure that we get these points on the board and get things done. But thanks, lads, for previewing this one for me. And thank you all for watching. Appreciate it, as always. I've been your host, Joe. This has been your Gallagher Shots match preview. And we'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra.